Hi, everyone. I'm Tara Witt. I'm the managing partner at Tarrison Products. We're a contract furniture manufacturer specifically for the food service industry. And I'm here today with Andrea Hubbard, president of Interior Insights. What's really exciting is Andrea's got an extensive background in textile manufacturing. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to get together and ask some questions about textiles in the food industry, how to use them, where to use them, and what to use. I know that upholstery is something that I hear a lot of restaurateurs say that they want to stay away from. But I also know that the upholstery industry has come a long way, especially in the last few years, when it comes to those textiles and where we can use them. So, welcome, Andrea.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I have a heart for food service. It's where I started my career many years ago. So always love talking about it.
Awesome. All right, so let's get started. When you're selecting an upholstery, what do you have to consider about the space?
So I think when talking about selecting the upholstery, you really need to understand, what is going to be your longevity. So the longevity of the space, is this going to be a restaurant that's going to be remodeled quite often, every 3 to 4 years to keep up with trends or keep up with what's going on in the area? Or is this going to be something that is you need, a very extensive use out of this product? So are you, needing that 10 years plus? You also need to understand, what it is about your space that makes it special. Is it going to be a family-friendly restaurant? Do you need to deal with spills and crumbs and crayons?
Right.
Is it going to be something that is more fine dining? Are you going to be dealing with red wine stains, at the end of the evening? So I think understanding that usage should be really the first thing that you're looking for when selecting upholstery.
Okay, great. So what materials then would be suitable for something like a QSR application versus something that you would see in fine dining?
Sure. So in QSR, I would always lean toward a vinyl or a faux leather, depending on what your area of the country calls that. And the reason is it's going to be very fast and easy to and very cleanable. So you're going to be able to turn tables very quickly without having anything that is absorbing into the space. The other interesting thing about vinyls and faux leathers most recently has been something called anti-graffiti.
Okay.
And what that is, so it is what it sounds like, right? So it sounds like, ink pens or markers are not going to be able to stain. It's going to be easily cleanable, but also you're going to be able to prevent other stains. So think mustard and ketchup, think red wine or coffee. So
Right.
looking for that anti-graffiti is going to be really important in those quick serve spaces.
Okay, awesome. So something that I see comes up a lot on specifications across our desk is double rub count. And I know we throw that term around like everybody knows what it is, and I don't think everybody truly knows what that means. So what can you tell us about when you're looking at a double rub count of a fabric? What do we extrapolate from that?
Sure. So double rub, just to kind of give a quick explanation, you take a piece of plastic and you swipe it across the fabric, and that's at one double rub. In residential world, if you're at 20,000 double rubs, that's typically going to be in residential. Anything over about 50 or 60,000 double rubs is going to be more of a commercial textile use. Um, the tricky thing about double rubs is it's not necessarily what is the indicator of how that fabric is going to perform long term. It's
Okay.
only one factor that goes into it, right? So imagine sitting down in your chair, getting comfy and getting back up. Like that's the only thing that it's taking into account. Um, the other things you really need to look for above and beyond double rubs is going to be durability and performance. So double rubs does not take into account if the fabric can be stained. It doesn't take into account if it's cleanable. So there's
Okay.
a lot of other things. Think of like a chair with an arm if it's upholstered. If it has a sharp edge on it, that may cause weakness in the fabric that's not necessarily accounted for in double rubs. So
Got it.
looking at a lot of different factors is above and beyond the double rub count.
Got it. Okay, and another factor that I want to talk about is stain treatments because we hear a lot about that. There's a lot of different brands of stain treatments out there. Um, I know we've had Crypton around for a while. We've got Alta now. Are these a real thing? Is it a little bit of snake oil? Is it worth the investment? What can you tell us about what's available in stain treatments?
Sure. So I'm glad you brought up Krypton. Krypton's been around for a long time, and it is still one of the best in the market. They have a patent on it, and how theirs works is it prevents liquids or stains from being absorbed into the fabric. And you are going to pay a premium for that Krypton name, but it does work. It does add to that longevity if you were combining that stain treatment with the double rubs. Another one out in the market is going to be from Applied Textiles. So their technology is called Alta, I believe. I've worked with them on and off throughout the years. And similar but different, they are able to use their technology based on the types of stains or liquids that you think your fabrics may come in contact with. So a healthcare space is going to come in with different liquids than in a food and beverage. And so they can
Right.
really tailor it to where that fabric is going to be used.
Okay, awesome. And while we're talking about stains, we might as well talk about cleaners. So, what about using the right cleaners? I know the food service world is notorious for a lot of really harsh cleaners. We especially saw that coming out of COVID, the number of times we're
Sure.
spraying and sanitizing everything. What does that mean in the upholstery world?
Sure. So, a Krypton or an Alta finish is going to be able to, because it's a barrier to being absorbed, it could really even just be wiped off with your hand or with a towel. When you start talking about cleaners, if there are staining, you really need to understand what's going on in your restaurant. Are you a multi-site location? So you're buying and using the same cleaners, and so you understand exactly what's going to be used in your property. Or are you going to be buying whatever is available off the shelf? So being able to make sure that those cleaners can withstand, or I'm sorry, to make sure that those finishes can withstand the cleaning agents. I think another thing to consider is maybe you're not using a cleaner to actually clean the fabric, but if you're spraying it on a table, if you're mopping the floor and it splashes,
Right.
there's a lot of different opportunities for those types of cleaners to get on upholstery, and you just need to be aware.
Okay, good to know. All right, and lastly, when we're looking for a customer to make an upholstery choice and finally pull the trigger on that final fabric, what should a customer be asking for? I know in today's day and age, everything is online, people are shopping off a website, but in your opinion, what should that customer be looking for before they make their decision?
That's a good question. So yes, I always recommend getting a memo sample. Computer screens very widely and making sure it's going to fit with the palette that you're working on. I really think taking a holistic look at the fabric that you're selecting. Does it check all the check boxes? Does it not only have the double rub but stain resistant? Also understanding exactly where that fabric's going to be placed in your space. Is it high traffic or is it just in the entryway? I think
Right.
taking a holistic look is really important.
Awesome. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for your time today. I hope anybody that watches this finds this really informative. I know we always get so many questions about upholstery and food service. It still is a bit of a mystery to the masses. So hopefully this has shed some light on that for everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Take care.
Thanks.